This is Optometrists Building Empires, and I'm your host, Ankit Patel. Each week, we'll explore the journey of practice ownership and leadership in optometry. Join us for insights and strategies from the top minds in our field. This show is sponsored by My Business Care Team. My Business Care Team helps your office increase revenues, reduce costs, and reduce staffing headaches. Let's build your empire together. Today's guest is a nationally recognized optometrist specializing in myopia management, especially contact lenses. She has an advanced training in cornea and contact lenses, and she holds fellowships in both the American Academy of Optometry and the Scleral Lens Education Society. She's also a sought-after speaker and contributor, frequently publishing and lecturing on myopia management and especially contact lenses to her peers nationwide. She's the owner and optometrist of Raleigh Contact Lens Institute and Charlotte Contact Lens Institute. Please welcome Dr. Ariel Cerenzie. Ariel, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this conversation. You and I were chatting previously, and I was like, "Oh, you've got some. This is going to be a fun conversation." So, I think it'll be some interesting takeaways for folks. And so, getting right into it, what was the most important thing that's helped you build your empire?
So I knew this question was coming. One, because I've listened to a lot of your really inspiring guests that you've had before, and it's interesting to hear the scope of responses. But I was thinking, what's my answer going to be? So I'm going to provide a little context, and then I'll answer the question. My husband and I did a trip to Southeast Asia a few years ago. And one of the places we went was a really cool sanctuary in Japan.
Mhm.
And one of the things that you could do was write things that you wished for in life. And you wrote it on this little wooden plank that had a rope on it. And then you would go hang it up on this, that was like a really pretty old tree.
Yeah.
And so I wrote down good health and happiness for myself and my family. And then I was nosy and kind of looked around at what other people wrote. And it was pretty amazing that it was kind of the same theme, health, happiness was really kind of the underlying theme. So, when I was in my previous role as an associate, I found that I wasn't happy, and it probably translated to not being very healthy either, with just stress and dare I say burnout. So I really started to think about what would make me happy. And two of the things that I wanted was more time with my specialty lens patients. I felt like I was just having to crank through the specialty that I grew there. And I wanted to feel confident that if anybody walked through the door, that I would have the technology to, provide a solution to them, regardless of what kind of crazy cornea or crazy ocular surface they had. So that was kind of my the what I wanted to kind of structure my clinic as, for my happiness, and then for my health too. And then from there, I think that kind of having the work environment like this, where I was very happy, having a lot of fulfillment and doing what I wanted to do the way that I wanted to do it, was going to translate to a future that I wanted. So after we started the Charlotte Contact Lens Institute, I wanted to, quote unquote, grow my empire by taking what I've learned from that business and building the Raleigh Contact Lens Institute.
That's cool. I like the intentionality behind it. And really being, I think that's a theme I'm hearing is intentionality. It's like, I want to intentionally spend more time with these types of patients. I want to intentionally have this type of business. Would you say that's the common theme there, or is that right?
Yes, that's exactly right. I mean, I would see these patients with really complex conditions and just think, man, if I could spend just a little bit more time with them than this 15-minute window, I know that I could make it so much better. But, when you're having to crank through patients, it's really hard to provide that. And I have keratoconus. It's very mild keratoconus. I'm very lucky for that. But I think a lot about how I would want my eyes to be taken care of. And that's that was another intention that I had, and wanting to provide that for people that walked through the door.
Gotcha. No, that's actually, it's a pretty cool story. It
Thank you.
it and so you went from one location to 2.
Mhm.
What were some of the things you ran into that you didn't expect?
One of the things that I have realized is that I'm perfectionist, and I've just really had to learn to not be a perfectionist and just be okay with, just getting it done is probably better than it being perfected. Um, so things that I ran into from a positive perspective was I was pretty nervous that it was going to take a while for the practice to grow. You always hear like, "Oh, optometrists don't refer to other optometrists." Um, we had like over 200 doctors referred to us within the first year, mostly optometrists. So it was really unexpected and amazing to see that kind of support to the practice. Um, and then I think I'm trying to think of some challenges that were maybe unique to us. I think probably the biggest challenge was um not taking insurance and
Mm,
people's resistance to being self-pay, and, kind of trying to understand how to have a conversation to help people get behind a self-pay model. So for our team, we had to do kind of like a lot of training in psychology and verbiage and, how to talk about, being out of network.
Tell me a little bit more about that. What does that mean? This is about psychology. Like, what was it about it? Is there a particular program you used? How'd you make that work? Because it's hard getting off of insurance panels.
Right. Yeah, so, what we actually hired a coach for our team, a sales coach, because it is a sale, you're selling the practice, and so what we really tried to do is to determine find out the patient's pain point,
Mhm.
um, I have specialty lenses, but I'm really unhappy with them, um and then we would really try to focus on how we can uniquely address that pain point by being out of the confinements of insurance. With insurance reimbursements, we're really only able to provide a certain level of service in terms of time spent with the doctor and technology that you can have for your eyes. And, you only have one set of lenses for the year. Wouldn't you like them to be, like, the best technology that you could possibly be in, like, the most customized technology that you can have?
Interesting. Is there a particular I'm just curious, tactically, is there a particular, like, coach you use or program, like Sandler, one of those, or is it something that you found that's optical specific? I'm just curious about the tactics here, if folks can take away, like, 1 or 2 nuggets, like, "Okay, this was helpful for your office."
Yeah, we actually found somebody in our neighborhood
Oh,
that used to be, she previously worked for ISI, that is like a functional, um, training
okay.
type program. I really don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like an Orange Theory, um, type thing. But she helps with sales for ISI, and we just posted on our neighborhood Facebook page if anybody knew of any programs for sales coaching that we could use, and, we found her, which was nice to find somebody local because we were able to, have in-person meetings, but, that's not to say that something virtual would be great as well. Um, do you provide any services like that with your
W
company?
we help folks out because 'cause we've done a lot ourselves. We've hired several coaches as well. Um, we've kind of distilled it down to what we call wow patient experience. And it's like a combination of like 10 different things that kind of help. And so we're able to kind of nail down each element and how do you assess that? And more importantly, how do you make it feel natural, not forced?
Uh-huh.
And so we kind of use that across the board with every patient interaction. And ideally, it should help with sales. But what we find is with the sales, it's really, we do help with like marketing in terms of understanding your persona and how you're going after them and what they value. So, for
Mhm.
instance, the myopia folks, most of the time, they're parents that are the clients, but they really want research and they want data and FDA. Like that's really important to them versus the fashion folks who really want style and different things. And so, how we talk to them is different. So, we want to understand who we're talking to is the biggest thing.
Mhm.
And so understanding the type of person you're talking to is important, and then training against that and the verbiage and how to actually add value to the conversation. I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah, it's a tough thing. It's not easy for sure.
Yeah, and
Um,
it's so interesting too when you really get into the science of it. I'd say probably for the majority of our patients, the feedback that we get a lot, and that's something that we try to focus on in the initial conversations is just the feeling of feeling like a number, like it
never.
just kind of seems like, um, I wait 2 hours to be seen in some of these like hospital settings, and then I'm seen for like 5 minutes, and
Yeah,
there's not, like, any customization to me, like, I'm just a number, and so that's something that we focus on a lot is you get 1 to 2 hours directly with the doctor, and you're getting this custom plan versus, like, a one size
one size
fits
fits all.
all.
Yeah. Um, that's interesting. So running into some of those challenges, what made you want to do this in the first place? Right? What was it about? Like you could have been happy with one, but you're like, yeah, let's
Yeah.
go for more. What kind of drove that? I'm kind of curious.
Well, when I first started the practice, it was really kind of a passion project, which is not very business-minded of me, but I was just kind of like, if I make the same that I'm making it as an associate now, maybe 3, 4 years down the line. At least I'm really enjoying what I'm doing and I'm controlling my days and my schedule. Um, and I have a couple of just being in the contact lens community, I have some friends that have similar practices as mine, self-pay, specialty lens focused, no optical. Um and one of them was like, just kind of expect about 5 patients per month in the beginning, expect to be in the red. So I was fully expecting to be in the red for a while, and, we just started having patients come in like crazy,
Hmm.
um, and I just realized that there's a really big need for this particular, patient population, and they tend to be a pretty tight-knit community. There's all of these, like, support pages and, um, that's is something that they wanna talk about and help other people. So we grew really, really fast. So, we I really just kind of started to think, "Well, where else could I do this that we could maybe, like, reproduce this somewhere else?" And it needed to be a larger city, that has access to a bunch of smaller communities around, and Raleigh is, about 3 hours from Charlotte, and it has all of the, it has, like, Duke, UNC, a lot of the bigger hospitals that people go to, all around, the East Coast or, the US to get that higher, that level of expertise at Duke Eye Care or Duke Eye Center. So, yeah, we just kinda knew that it was something that we could reproduce and wanted to do it somewhere we thought and knew that it would be, successful and people would need it.
So what I'm hearing is clearly you hit on a niche that was really needed. You found communities of people who also referred other people because you weren't taking insurance. And so when you picked the next location, did you do any kind of analysis like that? It sounded like you did a little bit of like, okay, this seems like an area that would also have the same need for the services we offer. But was there anything more formal than that, or you were just like, yeah, we know the area well enough to be able to do that?
Yeah, it really wasn't anything super formal. I knew a, Dr. Madison Moss, who is the primary doctor at in Raleigh, and she practiced in the Raleigh area. I love her, have a ton of respect for her. I was in my residency at UMSL in St. Louis, and she was a student. I just
Mhm.
remember thinking, "Man, she is so smart." She is s smarter than me as a resident right now as, like, a 3rd year. So I reached out to her and just asked, "Do you, I see this opportunity in the practice setting that you're in, because she went and did a cornea and contact lens residency too. And do you think that this practice would be successful? And she already had a good relationship with some doctors that would refer to her for specialty contact lenses. And she was like, oh my gosh, yeah, this would be a really awesome opportunity for this area. So nothing really formal, just kind of gut and a conversation.
Well, I'd say, sometimes it's, or I imagine that, since you've been in the area, you probably had an intuitive, like you said, that sounds like more, I think you're selling yourself short. That's actually a decent amount of research relative to what some folks do. Some people just be like, oh, yeah, I'm close to here. I'll just open up a shop.
Yeah.
Right. So
Well,
I
thank
like your
you.
approach. So with the way you're structured and the way everything works, how do you deal with, well, we figured out how you dealt with reimbursements or lack of reimbursements. You don't have insurance, but how do you
Yeah.
deal with staff challenges that you're facing? If you're not, then tell us your secret.
Right. I am not, and we do something pretty unique in that all of our entire team is virtual. We do have one person that comes in, again, I met through our neighborhood community, that does our insertion and removal classes. She comes in twice a week, so part-time. She's was a stay-at-home mom, and now all of her kids are graduated, and she just wanted something to do, and she loves it. And she has a lot of patience, which is key. But, all of, like, our we have 2 virtual assistants that basically do everything that they can
Mm.
remotely. So, I have a little screen on my front desk. When patients come in, one of my right-hand women, her name is Pia, she greets them. She checks them in. In the background, she's answering phone calls, emails, text messages. And at the end of the exam, she'll also check them out and collect payment, schedule their future exam. And then um, I also have another team member who's my other right-hand woman named Noemi, and she helps scribe and do more of kind of like a
Mm.
tech type position. But they have access to all of my computers, and they just use Google Remote and remote into computers and kind of follow me around the exam. And then we've recently started using, like an AI scribe to help kind of fill in the blanks if she's, needing to answer a phone call if Pia is busy or whatever. And it's gone really smooth. They're super dependable. They're both very hardworking. I've been really, really, really happy with them.
Nice. That's awesome. Um, so tell us a little about, like what kind of AI scribe are you using? Just curious. Which company?
Yeah, it's, Commure, Commure. It it actually integrates with, ChatGPT, so, it'll transcribe the entire encounter, and then it will organize it, by SOAP or whatever you teach it to do, whatever you want it to, whatever is important to you. And I really like that because I co-manage a lot of patients, so I'll just say, I'm co-managing this patient with Doctor So and so. Help me write a update letter to the
Mm.
doctor, and I'll just kind of go through and edit it, and it's super fast. Um, it's been really great. The main con is that it doesn't integrate with iCloud Pro, which is our EMR.
Yeah.
It doesn't integrate with many like optometry specific, but it does have, like, it will integrate with Epic and some of, like, the bigger
Big
EMRs
old.
in the ophthalmology world.
Yeah. We use iCloud Pro as well. Nothing integrates with it. So that's
Okay.
cool stuff. Yeah. It's more of a
One day,
challenge.
hopefully.
Well, we'll see. Maybe. So excellent. And as far as, so your remote folks, are they in both offices or just one? Like how do you structure that? Do they, I mean, technically they could just hop in, check out one person in one location, then go to the next one, right? And they can
Mhm.
just go between Raleigh and Charlotte, which is a couple hour drive.
Right. So yes, Madison, Dr. Moss, she has a virtual assistant as well. Her name is Hope. And they're so funny. I'll talk to them and they're like best friends.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have a really cool relationship with them. I initially found Pia through Hello Raish.
Mhm.
Um, and when I was looking for a second team member, I tried to go through Hello Raish again and just really didn't find any good candidate that had any experience in the eye care world. So then I went to Upworks and found Noemi and Hope through there, and it was nice because you can interview a bunch of people all at one time versus Hello Race. They send you, 2 to 3 candidates at a
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Those are actually great sources. We found folks through those as well. So,
Mhm.
um,
Yeah, great.
so what are you most excited about your practices? Like, what are you excited about in the future of optometry?
Yeah, I just love that the technology is continuing to evolve. You have all of these really cool, complex scleral lens designs that are totally freeform, and I just love that I have the ability to buy whatever the heck I want. So recently, we just purchased the Ovid instrument, which corrects high order aberrations and sclerals. So it's just a really cool feeling to know that, like I said before, and I always go back to this, anybody that walks through my door that can wear a contact lens, like, we're gonna find them a solution, and I have all the confidence in the world that there's no case that's, too hard for us, as long as the eye is able to wear a lens. So, yeah, I'm just excited about the continued advancement in the specialty lens world and the flexibility to buy what I want.
Nice.
My
Um,
husband's probably, like, gonna cringe when he hears this.
like, no, you're not allowed to buy it. Yeah. Yes, I
Yeah.
do. Never.
Like, when I was looking to buy the Ovids, like, "Are you sure? I mean, aren't your patients really happy with their vision already?" And I was like, "Yes, but they could be happier, they don't know."
Like, yeah. That's funny. It's always nice. You have the freedom to practice how you want. Um,
Mhm.
if you had to double or triple size your business over the next year, how would you do it?
I you know, I've been really staying in my lane in terms of specialty lens care, but there is certainly a need for more dry eye specialists, especially in
Mm,
Charlotte. Um, I know that I could really, really grow the practice if I started to offer things like IPL,
mm,
RF, because once you pay off that initial instrument, it's pretty much, profit from there.
yeah.
So that would be one way. I don't know that I necessarily want to do that. I kind of like co-managing some of those folks. But yeah, I'd say just replicating this practice elsewhere.
Yeah. Well, I was about to
And
say, if you start doing those things, will folks who are referring to you now keep referring? Like, I'd be curious, right? Because, like, right, sounds like a heavy part of your business is referrals from other optometrists.
right, and that is a great point, and that's one of the reasons why we decided not to have an optical is that we didn't want to be competition. So that certainly is something that we would be in the con bucket of adding on the dry eye, um, specialty. But,
Yeah.
my husband and we've talked about this before. He's a business guy, and he sees, the how things are looking with the practice, kind of like the simplicity of the business, not having a retail component, not having to deal with, insurance reimbursements. And we've talked about, well, could we make this, something bigger? And honestly, we're really just very content with where we are right now. We have 3 small children, 3
Yeah.
children under the age of 4, and we really wanna be present with them until they don't need us anymore, until we're not cool anymore. And then we could think about a growth plan.
God bless you. 3 kids under 4? Oh, man. That is tough. That's
Oh, that's what these under eye circles are from.
oh, no, I can tell, but yeah, I was gonna say, man, you got a lot of energy for someone with 3 kids under 4. I remember those days. Those are tough. Um,
Powered by caffeine all the time.
there you go. I'm a big coffee. Actually, one of my favorite side note, one of my favorite brands of coffee is from your neck of the woods, Counterculture.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
yeah, I buy it by the bulk and have some every day. It's one of my favorite brands of coffee, so
Oh, nice. Do
they should sponsor
you
the podcast. This
right, you
Yeah,
should ask
well,
them.
yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
I just
I'll take
bought
payment
a
in coffee. Yeah.
right. That's great payment. I just bought the Breville Barista
Oh, yeah,
Touch.
yeah.
So I've really been diving into all the Reddit articles on, the crema and how to time your espresso shot, and it's a whole science.
Grind finder, right? Grind finder, that's the thing there.
Right.
I went through that during COVID. I bought a really fancy espresso machine, spent way too much money on it. But it was, one of the best purchases I think I made. So, yeah, it's a fun, it's yeah. I consider my midlife purchase. So, I've been consider that as a sports car, I guess. So,
Espresso machine versus a sports car.
yeah, sure.
That's funny.
So, I'm curious, shifting gears a little bit, let's talk about, I'm curious if you could share with me a story that's impactful to you that you felt like made you who you are today. At any point in your life, like, so first one that comes to mind that feels visceral is like, oh yeah, that is a good story that it kind of formed me.
I have a kind of a couple of things that I'm thinking about, and I've lived a pretty good life where I I haven't really gone through many hard times. But I so when I was in and it's kind of silly to talk about high school, but when I was in high school, I really like I identified as being an athlete. Like all my friends were athletes. That was just kind of who I was. Um, and I ended up tearing both of my ACLs within like a 8-month period of each other. And so I just had
Yeah.
really busted knees and really couldn't do any of the things that I wanted to do. And um, I like all of my friends stopped being my friends. So I guess, they weren't my friends.
Wow.
Um, so I remember it was really hard being that age and kind of having your identity taken away from you and then not having any of your core friend group that you had. Um, so I'd say at a young age, I really started to kind of understand that, not to let external, like factors or labels or whatever determine who you are. And so it's kind of been a driving factor for me to um, just kind of, just to really quantify my own identity. So, now I try to do routine meditation retreats to just try to stay centered and
Wow.
um, keep the identity as I identify myself. That's kind of deep, but I guess that's kind of my visceral like response of what I immediately thought of.
I appreciate you sharing. That's gotta be tough. At high school, losing all your friends like that, just from like not even like it's just a random freak injury.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was, but I'm thankful for it because it's good to look internally for who you are versus trying to get that from the outside world and feel like it's really shaped who I am from a younger age.
Yeah. And building on that, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give to yourself a week after you graduated OD school?
I think that I would say go to annual meditation retreats. I'm the kind of person that I really kind of have to learn things the hard way. Like if someone was to give me some advice, I'd be like, yeah, but that's your life. That's not mine. So I don't know that if I really would have taken advice to heart if I wouldn't have had to go through, some of the experiences that I've had.
Hmm,
Yeah.
interesting. Um, what so what do you do for fun in between your time? Like you have 3 kids, you have your 2 practices. How do you manage all that?
Um, I have a very supportive spouse. I think that that's huge. He we really helps you kind of share the roles of the household. So, that's kind of how I've survived being a mom and a business owner and then having passions outside of work. I really enjoy being outdoors, mountain biking, water sports. Uh, spending time with family is always a priority. But we actually moved to Charlotte because it's warm most of the year, and there are 3 big lakes that are close by. So I'm hoping the kids will take up enjoying, water skiing and all that. But, yeah, I was on the water ski team when I was in undergrad at A&M, and
Oh, wow.
I was on the D team. We called ourselves the drinking team because we weren't very good, but we had a lot of fun. It's my husband and I's happy place for sure.
I was about to say, that might be the best place to be. No pressure in college, but you're part of college athletics, but no pressure. That's
Right.
where, yeah. You don't have to be, there's not much pressure on you. Yeah, you have to train, but probably not as hard as the A team, right? So,
Oh, right. Yeah. I mean, it was just kind of a little, club. We weren't really competing for the school or anything, but we certainly had a lot of fun.
do you have fun with your speaking and consulting as well? Like that seems to be like you have so much going on already, but to take that on in addition, and to clarify, you speak and you consult with like contact lens type products, correct?
Mhm. Yeah, so
Yeah.
myopia management, and specialty contact lenses. I'll speak on anything from just kind of the technical aspects of fitting, specialty lenses to making it work in your business or your practice, and I really, really enjoy that. I say that I really, I actually really like to speak on myopia management maybe a little bit more than specialty lenses because I feel like every practice should be doing it in some capacity. Um, and I just love being able to help doctors make that happen in
Yeah.
their practice.
That's awesome. Right. And if folks want to get in touch with you, where can they get in touch with you?
Um, you could find I'm the only Ariel Cerenzie that exists thanks to marriage. I was Ariel Johnson before, but you could find me on Instagram, LinkedIn. Just search my name. I'd be happy to connect with you or email. It's Dr. Cerenzie CERENDIE at gmail.com. But yeah, I'd love to connect. If anybody that's listening is ever comes to Charlotte, I'd be happy to be a tour guide. I love Charlotte. So let
Nice.
me know. That includes you.
You know what? We make it up to Charlotte every once in a while. We'll give you a call. Next time we come up. So,
Yeah, yeah. I'll be your tour guide. I'll take you to all of the best coffee shops, and
oh, it's perfect. That's what I want to hit up is the good coffee shops. So,
we'll put you on a tube out in the lake and
there you
flip you
go.
over a few times.
That sounds nice, actually. Receive the heat. Well, Dr. Cerenzi, thank you again for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, and thank you, audience, for listening. If you enjoyed it and like something, please share it and subscribe to the YouTube channel or the podcast. Thank you again, Dr. Cerenzi. This has been another exciting episode of Optometrists Building Empires. We'll see you next time. That's a wrap on another episode of Optometrists Building Empires. Thanks for joining. For show notes and more, visit buildingempires.live. This show is proudly sponsored by My Business Care Team. My Business Care Team was born out of staffing challenges my wife and I faced together, managing multiple optometry locations. We refined our approach at Classic Vision Care and now offer our expertise to others. If you're experiencing challenges with staffing and you'd like to set up a discovery call, we'd be happy to help you and connect you with the right resources. We'll see you next time.